Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the third and final session on the Design Foundation series for app and SaaS founders. Uh, my name is Vish, and you already met Zain. So I lead the design team, and Zain leads the product strategy team here at Appomate. And the last couple of weeks, we talked about what makes an app great and how to design an app so that it maximizes conversions and product-led growth and elements of product-led growth, elements of high converting design elements, and all that. So what we'll do today is we'll go through a very quick recap of what we looked at the last couple of weeks. And today we'll be focusing mostly on jobs to be done, what it is, its core tenets, and how you can actually use some of the key tools in jobs to be done to implement jobs to be done in your products and innovate and get the product market fit. And towards the end of this session, we'll also look at how you can, as app founders, collaborate with designers and developers using Figma. With that, quick recap. Why is design important? Because there are about 5.5 million apps in the market, and every user has more than one option, which means it's really important to capture user attention and their loyalty from the very first touch point. As we saw in the first week, is about 43% of users abandon the app only after one use and 71% churn after 90 days, which means a terrible waste of marketing dollars and effort in acquiring the user if they don't come back and use your product again and again and generate some sort of revenue. And we also saw that the average cost per install for apps in Australia is about $5. And the price can vary depending on the type of app and your niche, but $5 is basically the average per install, right? We also saw the BJ Fogg behavior model and looked at consumer psychology or user psychology, how motivation and ability to do something impacts the user's the amount of prompting that you need to do to get users to take an action. So if the user's motivation is really high, or if it is very easy for someone to do something, they'll take an action without a lot of prompting. But if your app is difficult to use, or if the motivation is low, then you will need to do a lot of prompting before someone can take an action. We also looked at the product-led growth consumer or customer lifecycle, from awareness to acquisition to activation, retention, revenue, and referral. And we looked at different mechanics to get every user that you acquire to bring in more users into the app and business so that you can actually grow organically without having to spend marketing dollars on every user you acquire. We also looked at some of the design principles that we have come up with over a period of 10 years from all our learnings by working on over 100 different apps. They are always putting users first, understanding their core jobs to be done, their motivations, their pain points and frustrations, minimizing user effort, prioritizing adding value over features, making decisions based on qualitative and quantitative data, making sure that your products have a really great aesthetic and visual appeal, embracing product-led growth so that the product can organically grow, and always going with mobile-first designs as long as it's not for a dedicated hardware or an enterprise application, so that you can target and make sure that the experience is optimized for 80% of the internet traffic. We also looked at high converting design elements such as how you can start the cold start how you can solve the cold start problem, proactively handling errors, engaging empty states. We looked at how you can use the paywalls at the right time and at the right place to maximize subscriptions or revenue generation. And we also looked at how you can handle user feedback and get more 4 and 5-star ratings into the stores rather than lower ratings. We also looked at product-led growth mechanics, such as reducing barriers to entry, having a stellar onboarding, and building in viral loops within the product. With that, keeping all those things in mind, today we'll be looking at jobs to be done. So jobs to be done is basically a powerful tool for understanding customer behavior and innovation. So it centers on the idea that people buy products and services to accomplish specific tasks or goals, which are generally called as jobs, and not exactly to use the product by itself. Understanding the customer jobs will make it easier to innovate and solve the problem and make your success more predictable and profitable. So one of the things here is people always look for solutions that will help them get the job done as cheaply as possible and as faster as possible. For example, right, if we look at two of the biggest known brands today and some of the products that they had that failed over a period of time. Obviously, at the peak of their lifetime, they were very popular and people were using it left, right, and center. But over a period of time, due to lack of innovation, the products failed. So one such product is, Kodak, the digital camera. And if you think of the core job that people wanted there with a camera, actually, I'll ask you, can you guess what is the core job that a user wants with a camera? Just type it on chat. Let's say 30 seconds. Anybody? Anybody want to hazard a guess?
Is it like just
Capture a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, capture a moment.
Yeah. Capture a moment, make memories. Yeah, those kind of things, right? So the problem with an actual real camera was you had to capture a photo. So it wasn't easy to see whether the photo came out right or not. And then you had to go to a camera store, get the reels developed, then get the negatives, get the photos printed, and then look at the memories. So the process of going from the moment to making memories, the time was longer, right? And it was also more expensive because there were all these steps involved. And if you look at today's digital cameras, like on your phone or just a digital camera, right? As soon as you click a photo, the memory is there, and you can immediately get the photo in a digital format onto your phone, post it on social and all that, share it with friends and family. So if you compare it with the Reels camera, the time has reduced considerably. So it's almost instantaneous right now. And the cost has also reduced because there are no additional steps. Obviously, now if you want to print a photo, you can actually go ahead and do that. But if you just want to save that memory, you don't have to do that. Similarly with cassette tapes, right? So the job is listening to music, right? And with the cassette tapes, you had to go to the store, buy a cassette tape, and then put it in a player and then play it. And once the first side is completed, you had to take out the cassette and turn it around and then play the second side. And obviously the memory storage was lower, so there were only so many songs that you could listen to. But if you fast forward and compare it to the current technologies and innovations that's happening there, on a traditional iPhone or on a traditional Android phone, now you may have about 1,000 songs, right? Or maybe more than that. And you can immediately play it, and you don't have to take out anything or switch over anything and things like that. And you can continue to listen to songs as much as you want. So understanding the core job rather than focusing on the product or the customer will actually help you innovate more quickly, more predictably, and more profitably. So that's why we generally use jobs to be done framework at Appomate for all the products that we design and build. So if we look at the jobs to be done framework, So there are 4 different actors in any product or in any job, right? So the first one is the buyer, who actually pays for the job to be done. The second one is the influencer, who influences the decision of the buyer, saying, okay, let's actually get the job done in this way. And finally, the user, who actually works on the job to get it done. And then supporter, who actually supports the job throughout its life cycle from the first touch point to the final touch point. Jobs to be done, at its heart, posits that customers hire products or service, right, to achieve a particular outcome or solve a problem that they face. This perspective shifts the focus from the product to the customer's needs and in the context in which they'll use the product. Understanding these jobs helps businesses design solutions that precisely addresses the customer's demands, right? That is what the first tenet of jobs to be done says. Now, some of the examples here, we could talk about a lot of examples. So imagine Zoom, right? So Zoom, which is the solution that we are using right now to get on a call and talk and collaborate with each other. Ultimately, it's not a video calling solution, right? The key job here is connecting people who are remotely located with each other so that they can collaborate or get together virtually. Now, if you look at, say, a digital camera, again, oops, sorry. Yeah, if you look at a digital camera, again, the job is how can you, create memories quickly and easily. If you look at Uber, how can you, reach a destination quickly and easily. And if you look at an iPod, how can you listen to music quickly and easily? So there's a lot of these examples, right? So the core thing here is people buy products and services to get a job done rather than for the product itself. So the key takeaway here from this tenet is focus on the job, not the product. The context in which the consumer is completing the job also matters. And then these two will combined drive customer innovation. The second one talks about jobs are functional with both emotional and social components. What this says is the primary, it talks about or it focuses and emphasizes the primary motivation for a customer to use your product and service to perform that specific job. This goes back to the BJ Fogg behavior model of increasing customer motivation. So now if you understand the emotional and social components of the job and how the customers want that job to be done, that will actually help you increase the user's motivation so that when the time comes for you to generate revenue from the user, asking them to subscribe or asking them to make a payment or a purchase, you don't have to persuade them a lot. And any purchase decision, as you know, is influenced by emotional and social factors. And that is what this tenet talks about. When a customer gets a job done, they're basically not just looking to achieve just a practical outcome, but also a functional outcome that fulfills their needs, right? Now, again, if we think of buying a car, the purpose is obviously reaching a destination or transportation from point A to point B. But, the emotional component of buying a car could be like feeling safe or feeling excited of traveling in that car, or even feeling proud of owning a car, right? And a car can provide a sense of thrill and security and all that. And it's also a status thing, right? So that becomes the social component of it. So if you have a really nice car, it's looking great and it's a brand new one, it's a social status and social acceptance, and can bring you into that social group of belonging. Understanding the social and emotional components will actually help you address this psychological needs of the user really well. The third one is jobs are stable over time, right? Now, what this says is that fundamental jobs or the needs, the customer needs to get the job done remains consistent over time. So it doesn't matter, even as products or technologies or solutions evolve, the jobs remain the same, right? The methods might change, the tools might change, but the jobs don't change. For example, making memories. So earlier we were using real cameras, this job was still the same. Today we are using digital cameras, the job is still the same. Getting to a destination. Before we were using taxis and cabs or public transport to get to a destination. Today we might use Uber as well to get to a destination. So the job is the same, doesn't matter what is the technology, what are the products, or what are the solutions that are there in the market. So the job to be done is stable over time. And this will actually help you serve a market that you have conquered or you have addressed, and serve them for a longer period of time without being worried about product changes or technological changes or technological evolution. Again, the next one is related to what we were just speaking about, which is a job to be done is solution agnostic. So ultimately understanding that the user wants a job to be done and is not worried about what solution they are going to use to get the job done is really important, because our focus as founders should be on the job and not the product or the solution, right? By understanding the job in a solution agnostic way, rather than saying, okay, I need to go from one place to another, or rather than putting the solution as, okay, I need Uber from one place to another, if you can phrase it in a way, say, I need to reach the destination from place A to place B. That will actually help you define the problem in a solution agnostic way and innovate on solutions that may or may not have been thought of before. So this is the one that paves the opportunity and path for innovation and improvement beyond the current limitations of technologies. If we look at the next one, so success comes from making the job a unit of analysis rather than the product or the customer, right? So what this is, so this emphasizes that achieve success, businesses and founders like us should focus on understanding and analyzing the job that the customers are trying to get done rather than the products they use or the customers themselves. By making the job the unit of analysis, which is completely analyzing the job rather than the customer or the product, companies can uncover deeper insights into the customer needs and motivations. So this will lead potentially to effective and innovative solutions, right? Now, what the other way to put this is, instead of having a tunnel vision, looking at one particular thing. I see a chat here saying that can't see a presentation if you're showing slides.
You are definitely showing Vish. Davini, I'm not too sure why you can't see Vish's presentation. It could be in terms of the meeting setup that you've got on. So the top two tabs at the meeting, top of the meeting, there's one that says Vishwas Prasad's screen. If you maybe click that, that might show the presentation as well.
And just in case, I'll stop my screen share and restart it. Can you see it again?
Yeah, it's still there. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh, right.
All right, cool. So yeah, like I was saying, this tenet talks about how we can avoid tunnel vision, and instead of focusing solely on the products, how can we focus on the job and beyond the customer demography and all that. Now, if we look at Uber as an example, because that's a product that everyone have used, the job to be done is getting to a destination with using a reliable and convenient transportation quickly and cheaply. Though it's probably no longer cheaper, but yeah, that's basically the original job. The analysis of the job could be by understanding what the user wants to do, user was able to identify the shortcomings in the current technology, I wouldn't say technology because it wasn't a technology-driven solution before, the current service that was being available to public, such as, you wanted to call a cab. So was a cab available when you wanted it? How easy was it to contact a cab? And how transparent was the fee and all that? And how much time it's going to take for the cab to arrive and all that. So based on that analysis, Uber's app-based ride solution, they brought in things like real-time tracking, cashless payments, immediate and real-time messaging to the rider as well as the driver, saying, okay, this is where the customer is, this is where the cab is, and this is how much time it's going to take you to get the cab, and this is how much time it's going to take you to reach the destination once you get the cab and all that. The next one is a deep understanding of the customer jobs makes marketing and sales or marketing more effective and innovation more predictable, right? Again, this is, not only job understanding the jobs to be done, not only enhances the marketing strategies, but it will also help you phrase your language and the tone and the words in a way that resonates with the user's emotional and social needs, as well as their addressing their motivation and pain points. By focusing on the job that the customers are trying to accomplish, you can actually tailor your innovation and understand more about the job units and make sure that your innovation is not constrained by technology or the current solutions that customers are using, and you can look beyond the current solution and innovate and disrupt the markets that you are working in. So one of the examples could be Slack. So I'm sure you're all on the Startup Network Slack channel, and you have all used Slack before. Before Slack, it was mainly the communication was via emails. And there, when Slack built their product, the core job there was teams needed an efficient way to communicate and collaborate with each other, right? Now, if Slack had just looked at the current channels, they would have probably made a better email service or an email inbox, right? But by just focusing on the problem or the job, which is communication and collaboration, they were able to look beyond the current solution. They were able to look at how customers can collaborate or how users can collaborate. And instead of using emails, they thought, okay, the best way to collaborate now is just having an open communication channel with multiple users and having compartmentalized conversations. So Slack's marketing team focused on seamless communication and collaboration throughout their messages and directly addressing the job of team productivity. And by looking at these things, their innovation team brought in things like threaded messages and integrations with other tools that someone might be using, say something like their work tracker, or maybe even video calling or anything like that, right? And understanding the job help their marketing team reach the customers and communicate their core message to the customers very effectively, as well as their innovation team, R&D team, to innovate over a period of time and provide solutions that could make the product more sticky. The next one is people want products and services that will help them get a job done better and cheaper, right? Now, we have been talking about this from a very long time now, so I'll not go much deeper into this. But say, for example, if you look at Netflix, right? Netflix was another product that disrupted the market and used jobs to be done. So if you look at Netflix, before Netflix, you had to go into the store, buy a cassette or a DVD, bring it home, watch the movie, and after watching the movie, you had to go back and return the DVD. right? So there was manual effort involved, and you had to pay for every movie. And Netflix, before what it is today, Netflix started a service where you could just pay a flat subscription fee every month, and they sent you 3 movies via post. And after you watch those 3 movies, you send them back, and they via post again, and they'll send you another 3 movies. So that was how they actually innovated in this space, by looking at the job and without even thinking of the technology. So that was the low tech model of Netflix before they brought all the movies into the digital services, and Netflix is what it is today, right? So looking at people and looking at jobs and thinking of how you can make the job easier and quicker, or easier and more cheaper for them, will help you capture that target market easily and get product market fit. The last but one tenet is people seek out products and services that enable them to get the entire job done in a single platform. So what this does is this actually focuses on 2 things. One is the need for the user to get integrated services or an end-to-end service to get their job done, as well as the need of a user to avoid context switching. So as we all saw, I think in the last couple of weeks, that we humans, we now have a shorter attention span than a pigeon. And, we want to make the most out of that short attention span that we have, and we don't want context switching. So we want everything in one place. Now, one of the key things with having everything in one place is convenience, because a single platform that handles all aspects of the job eliminates the need for customers to switch between multiple tools, provides a more streamlined and cohesive experience, right? Second, it's easy to use, right? Because then if everything is in one place, you don't have to learn multiple systems. You just learn one thing and you can get your entire job done. The third one is it saves time and improves efficiency, because you don't have to switch between multiple platforms, reduces friction. And the fourth one is it enhances value of the solution itself, right? So if you look at one of the best examples of this, I think we talked about it in week 1, a Google workspace, right? So when you log in to your Google account, you get access to multiple things. So even if you just are trying to search for something on Google, you have access to your Gmail, you have access to your Google Docs, your Google Drive, Calendar, Meet, everything. Now, your entire work-related task management, communication management, document creation, collaboration, scheduling is managed by one product. So there is no need for someone to understand or learn multiple different products. So everything's in a single platform. Similarly, right? Microsoft Teams. So Teams facilitating collaboration and communication. It integrates with chat, it integrates with video meetings, file storage, Microsoft 365 applications, and all of these things. So that even when it becomes a commercial decision rather than an emotional one, it makes sense for someone to get everything in one space with one vendor, rather than going with multiple vendors, multiple invoices, multiple contract handling, So it makes it really easy from both a commercial standpoint and from a job standpoint. And we understand that not all businesses might be able to pull this off very easily. So there are a few different ways of getting this done. So one is having integrated solutions. So within your own business, if you have multiple products, they all integrate together. Or even if a job needs multiple things to be done, you build multiple products or multiple services that gets all these 3 done. But if that is not possible, looking at a marketplace opportunity. So if you know that you are doing a part of the job really well, another company which does a part of the job really well, you could have strategic partnerships with them, and you could become a part of the marketplace, or they could become a part of your marketplace, where the products work very seamlessly, and you can get the job done for the customer. Thereby, it makes it a win-win situation for both you and your strategic partner. Now, how do you do this? Understand the comprehensive needs, develop the integrated solutions, and enhance the user experience when you are actually integrating one product with another product, so that the user's experience doesn't break at any point in time. Innovation becomes predictable when needs are defined as metrics customers use as well to measure whether they are getting the job done or not. So that's the final tenet. So where this becomes important is you can actually use this a lot in how you set up your pricing and monetization or revenue, right? Now, pricing and monetization is basically one of the most, how do I put it? The right word is gnarly things, where it's not straightforward. You have to experiment with it. You have to see what works, what doesn't work, and all that. But again, the pricing, apart from the pricing itself, the pricing model is the other one that needs a lot of trial and error before you find the right fit. Now, if you know what your customers measure or use to measure when they're getting the job done, you can use the same exact metric on your pricing and packaging as well, so that it becomes easy for the customer to understand how much they're spending and whether it's worth for them to spend that money to get their job done. For example, say, Tesla, right? So if you take an example of Tesla, you're buying a car, but again, when you're buying a car, you can measure the success of reaching a destination by, say, the number of kilometers you traveled, right? Or how quickly you traveled, so your acceleration or safety features and things like that. And with Tesla, if you look at the different models of the car, it says, okay, this is the low range one, this is the mid range one, long range one, and then there's the performance one. So you know exactly what you're getting when you're buying a car, and you know whether reaching that high performance or quick acceleration, if it is important to you or not. So if it is not important to you as a customer or a buyer, you may not go for it, but you may go for a longer range one if reaching longer destinations is more important to you. Now, what this does is this actually makes the measures quantifiable, and it can actually make the value that you deliver quantified as well. And this will also, help you have targeted development in your products, so that you can actually improve on these metrics, and you can also reduce uncertainty to the user, where the user might sometimes not know whether what they're paying is the right amount or not.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
So just to clarify on the last tenant, basically it goes hand in hand for the customer and us as the provider, right? That the customer metrics, the metrics that customers use to measure success. So like, just for example, I'm thinking for my own idea, one of the two features that I eventually want to implement is like what I call an impact tracker and a health tracker. So like the health tracker then helps us help the customer track their health like progress with using our app. And then the impact tracker helps us help the customer track the impact they're making while using our app or learning from our app, right? Is that correct?
Correct. So it's basically, like you said, it's both you and your customer. So if you both can understand that metric, and if the customer feels that, okay, this is how I measure the outcome that I get, and if you feel, okay, this is a way that we can measure the outcome or the value that the product provides, yes, you can definitely use that metric.
All right, thanks.
Now, again, the benefits of using jobs to be done, right? So the first one is breaking down functional silos, and it aligns the teams. Because what happens is with jobs to be done, it provides a unified understanding. It provides a common language for the entire team to understand the customer and their jobs, right? From product design to product development to marketing to customer support, everyone can have the same understanding and the same language of what the customer uses to get their job done. Second, that provides cross-functional collaboration. So when all the teams are aligned on the same jobs, then collaboration becomes more effective. There is less contention between the teams, which means everyone's working towards the same objective and of filling the customer needs, basically, so that the collaboration is at its maximum. And the goals as well. So because the functional silos are broken down, every team inside your business will have the same goals, as well as the company goals will align with the team goals and the priorities across your organization. The second one is creating winning products, right? What this does is jobs to be done will help you get deeper customer insights by focusing on the job rather than the product or the customer, which means you have deeper insights into the job that the customer needs to solve, and you can define your problems or define the solution in terms of the jobs the customer are trying to do. You can have targeted innovation, like we saw, by understanding the social, emotional, and the functional needs of the customer, and have predictable success as well, because you are measuring success in the same metric as what the customers are using to measure their success. Finally, communicating offerings effectively, which is basically your marketing and sales side of things. Because you are using the same language as the customer, you understand the jobs, your messaging is very on point, and the customers can easily resonate and understand your messaging. You can have consistent messaging across all your channels in your product, outside of your product, your social, your ads, everything. And it brings that customer resonance where the customer feels that, yeah, this is exactly what I want, and this is exactly what this product provides or this business offers, and I want to go ahead with that. There are a few tools that you can actually use to get or bring in jobs to be done within your business. Now, the first one is, there are about 3-4 tools maybe. The first one is called as a market definition canvas. So the market definition canvas is a strategic tool that's used to clearly define and understand the market from the lens of the jobs that customers are trying to accomplish. Now, this is one of those tools that will help you shift the focus from product-centric view to a customer-centric view or a job-centric view by understanding the underlying customer needs. So it has different things. So the first one is basically the traditional market definition. So you're looking at what is the product or what is the market that you're trying to serve or innovate. And then there's the job executor. So you're exactly describing who your primary and secondary job executors are, who is your product buyer, who are the influencers, who are the supporters, who are the executors, and all that. And you're trying to understand the purpose of each of these user types. For example, food delivery app, the primary job executor might be someone who is ordering lunch or dinner, but the influencer could be, say, their partner or friends who are dining with them, and the primary job executor here is also the person who is ordering the food. And the supporter could be someone who is on the other side of the product, who is helping this person if they have any problems. This will also help them understand it will also help you understand the job that they're trying to do by you clearly describing the problem, clearly describing the purpose of the job that needs to be done, and also looking at all the other ancillary or tangential jobs that gets associated with the key job. You're also understanding the different steps in the job. so that you can look at what step you are doing really well, what step you are probably you can improve, and where the gaps are. That is entirely on the job executor side of things. Now, if we look at the job to be done side of things, you have the function of the product. So your product mapping it to the customer jobs. So you're seeing one-to-one or one-to-many correlations between your product and the jobs. You're looking at what other products the customers are using to get their job done today, and how are the other products placed in the mix of the products the customers are using. And that will lead you to understanding what are the constraints that you need to solve, what are the other players in the market that you need to work with, who are your strategic partners, who are your competitors. So it helps you build out that entire ecosystem of how you can lay out your product or business in the context of the customer's job and their life cycle. So traditionally, when we start looking at a new idea, this is the first thing that we look at. The second thing we look at is called as a job canvas, right? So the job canvas basically focuses on the jobs themselves, from the first moment the user wants to do the job to how they can conclude the job. So this is basically looking at, okay, defining a job. What are the things that they need to plan before they can do the job? Do they need to select anything before they can do a job? Do they need to make a decision before they need to they can complete a job? What are the things that they'll need to locate, which is things that they could gather, or things that they need access to, or things that they need to go and get before they can do the job. Things the user will need to prepare for, like setting up something, organizing something, examining something. Things that the users need to confirm before they can start executing the job, such as say age gate for something where they need to provide their date of birth, or they need to prioritize something, saying, yep, this is what I need to do rather than this. And then they start executing the job. So you're actually breaking down the job into multiple steps. So when the user is executing the job, how are they performing it? What are the different things that they need to do? How are they transacting it? And how are they administering the different steps? And during the job, when it is getting executed, what are the things that the users can monitor? Like, do they need to verify anything? Do they need to track something? Do they need to check whether it's working or not, or if it is completed or not? Can they modify something when they are doing it? And, is it actually needed for the user to modify something? Can the user update their order, or can the user make adjustments to their transaction, or can they just maintain whatever they did when they first started executing it? And when they conclude it, what is their experience, and how are they going to finish the job, or how are they going to store the output, and how are they going to close the transaction, things like that, right? So you're actually defining multiple steps from the first time to the time that they conclude the job. And using this, you actually do the job canvas for every job that the customer wants completed. And thereby you're breaking down the job into multiple steps. And it becomes really easy for you to understand where you can innovate and where you need to improve and where the opportunity lies. The next one that we have is called as a customer needs framework. So customer needs framework is basically, this talks about what are the different needs for different actors. Now, when we looked at buyer, influencer, executor, and then a supporter, different user types, every user type will have a different need, right? So a buyer might have different need where it needs to be economically viable. An influencer might have different need. Executor might have different need, and a supporter might have different need. So here, using this framework, you are actually mapping out what are the needs of the different types of users, and thereby you are actually talking to each and every one, and you are trying to understand the jobs that everyone's trying to accomplish. The final one is basically this is one of the most important ones that we use as well. So this one is called as the growth framework or the growth strategy framework. Now, what this does is this brings in the customer-centric focus, and you're trying to understand what is the strategy and how you can position yourself in the market, right? Now, this talks about how you can bring this in is once you identify the customer jobs and understand the desired outcomes, you're looking at the current solutions in the market and the other solutions that the customers are potentially using and how you are placed against them. Now, say, for example, if if the other products in the market, they are serving a particular type of customer or particular niche, you could potentially select or target another niche and go for a differentiated strategy where there are no other players in that niche and you are the only one and you can win that underserved customers. So you might have a smaller niche, but you are getting the job done better for them, which means you can also charge more for them because they don't have any other options. But if you go with the dominant strategy where there are other players in the market and you're basically doing the job better than other competitors, but you're also serving the same or same user base as your other competitors, you might do the job better, but you might have to charge less to become the dominant player and then increase your prices. But say, for example, if it is a very new market, if it is a very new way of doing something and you're disrupting the market, to understand whether the product or the service is viable, even though you might do the job, you may not do the job as well as other players in the market, you may charge less to see whether the new solution works or not. And you will win like overserved customers and non-consumers, and you can see whether your solution is disruptive enough. But say at the same time, if you're not getting the job done better than your competitors, and you also want to charge more, which means the discrete strategy, and you only get like limited options to win the customers over. Now, using this approach, you can actually look at how you can build a sustaining strategy where you are not tied or married to one particular quadrant, and you can serve multiple quadrants and have a balance that way so that you can have some cash flow coming in while you are disrupting the market, so that a part of your product serves an existing need or an existing user base while another part is trying to disrupt the market. So that's the advantage of using the growth strategy framework, so that you can actually identify and position yourself in the market and understand how you can sustainably grow.
Sorry, can I clarify something?
Sure.
So like going back to that growth strategy, is that like essentially similar to like a competitors analysis kind of framework?
So competitor analysis would be an input to this growth strategy framework.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Because the way I see the factors and the way the quadrants,
Correct.
it kind of looks like it.
Correct. So your competitor analysis would be an input to this, so you can actually differentiate your own strategy.
Right, okay, thanks.
Cool. Now the final part of this will probably take just 5 minutes. So let me actually do this. So generally, we use Figma in our designs. Figma is a very powerful web or desktop-based design tool that facilitates real-time collaboration between potentially all the teams, right, in your business. Could be your founders, designers, developers, testers, marketing, everyone, right? So it streamlines the design process, ensures communication, and enhances productivity and all that. And recently it was about to be acquired by Adobe and was about to become the most valuable private company in the world. But yeah, Adobe did not get the permission to acquire it because it would have become a monopoly in the design market. So it's still a private company now, worth billions of dollars, generates millions of revenues per year. It's not public. Yeah, it's a private company. But generally what happens is when you get a project started, your design team will set up a workspace here. And generally when we work with our clients, what we do is we also use FigJam, which is a competitor to Miro or a digital whiteboarding solution. Again, it's all integrated within Figma, so it's easier for us. So we use FigJam to run workshops and brainstorm on ideas and understand the priority and all of that, and even build mind maps of things. And once we start designing it, the first thing is we set up the workspace, we invite the clients and all that. So the goals, requirements, everything's on Figma. It's all collaborative. And when we start doing the designs, we share the links with the clients and the founders. It becomes easier for them because they don't have to make notes of changes and they don't have to look at multiple different images to understand the flow and all that. They can just look at the designs and they can start clicking on buttons here to start understanding what works, what doesn't work, and how the user journey is going to be. And they can potentially show this to their users and investors and their team to gather input and feedback. And say, for example, they wanted to make a change. Instead of having to write down something on a piece of paper or on an email and sending it to the design team, they can immediately post a comment here. So I need to log in, but so you have a comment button here. You can just log it in. I don't think I have logged in, so let me just log it in here. Okay, so if I go here, Figma, where's Figma? Okay, share, copy link. Say, for example, I'm a startup founder and I want to change this copy so that the marketing team uses the right language. I can just go here, click on the link here and say, instead of unwavering reliability for peace of mind, let's just say easy to use and quick turnaround or something like that, right? So I can add a note here, which means my marketing team, my design team, and everyone knows that, okay, this, Vish posted this, we need to change this. And if they have any questions, they can actually reply in thread. So we can have a common, conversation focused on just whatever we wanted to change or whatever we are focusing on right now. And at the same time, say my design team makes an update and they send it to me, I get a notification. And once everything's done, I can just say, yep, this is done. We don't need to worry about it anymore. So that it's going to be clear. And we can also use this, like I said, to get user feedback and investor feedback. So a lot of our clients who are founders and trying to raise investments, seed round, Series A, Series B, for functionality which is not launched yet in the live product, they use this, they take it to the market and they take it to the investors and they actually show the workflow here so that it actually feels like an actually built product, but at the same time, you don't have to go through the actual development time and effort, and you can get feedback and advice without spending a lot of time and effort. The other thing you can do is also creating design systems. So say, for example, if you wanted to build assets for your marketing, you can use Figma and you can, look at, aesthetic prototypes and you can take screenshots and you can download the images and you can have all your design assets in a single place. And finally, once you are happy as a founder with the designs, you can actually hand it off to your development team, so that the development team also has the same version of the file, so that there's not a problem of multiple versions and confusions and things like that. But yeah, using Figma, it actually makes everything streamlined. Quick disclaimer, I'm not getting paid to promote Figma here. But yeah, just thought I'll share some tools that we currently use to make it easier for everyone to collaborate with their different teams. Awesome. That was it from my end. I'll actually share the other screen. Any final questions or comments? I think there was a question here from, what is this? Dave. Dave, yes, the last 2 sessions were recorded. I think they have been uploaded to YouTube already. You might probably reach out to Ryan or someone from the Startup Network, and they should be able to share it with you. Or thanks for sharing your email. I think Zane's going to share it with you as well.
Correct. Yeah, and so we'll be able to get the recording shared as well. Generally, the YouTube videos is going to be better because it'll be we'll take out all the gaps and stuff like that. So Ryan does actually edit those. But if you do need the this unedited version, we can send that through as well.
So Nanisha, you had a question. Will you show how to go about launching a beta version to initially test the MVP of the app? So generally with the MVP version, what we do is we recommend using Figma prototypes to validate your hypothesis. And once you get sufficient feedback from the users and you have a certain level of confidence, that's when we suggest building your product using, say, for example, if it is feasible, going with a cross-platform technology like React Native or something, so that you don't have to build for 2 platforms separately. So build once, deploy on multiple. And then we also, so the process that we follow at Appomate is, while we are developing this, while we are designing the applications, we also develop the marketing website. So you can start collecting early adopters and waitlist users. So the time your app is ready after development and you are ready to launch the product, you already have a list of users who are ready to start using it. Now you share the product with them as early adopters, give them some incentive. So they start using it, they start giving you feedback. They'll help you test it as well, what's working, what's not working. And in exchange for that incentive, obviously. And then once you are comfortable and you're getting great feedback, you can roll it out as a general available product to all your other users and start your marketing activities.
Anyone have any other questions that they'd like to share?
I think Rachel had a question, UX Pin and Glide app. Yes, so I have used UX Pin before. The thing with Figma is it's a bit more easier to use. It has a bit more community support and more integration, so that, say, for example, if you wanted to bring in like videos or something into the prototype, you could do that very easily.
I'm using, sorry, you go. Sorry,
no, open to you. You go for it.
My team is currently using the part of the Glide app for prototype. Is there a disadvantage here if we're not using Figma? What's the main difference in between all the tools? There's so many choices for us.
I'll let Vish answer on one side and I'll answer on the other.
Great, thank you.
Look, I mean, Glide app is basically no code app builder, right?
Yeah, we're using that for no code as well.
Correct.
That's why I think the tech team picked that for prototype.
Correct. So look, if I look at the key advantage or key difference, right? So with a low code or a no code builder, you have a limited set of templates that you could use. With Figma, it's 100% custom designs. You could design it however you want, which means, again, depends on your product, depends on your business and your current situation. But say, for example, if you want to stand out of the competition and if you want to, provide a new experience or a custom experience to your market, then I would probably recommend Figma. But if you are using it just to communicate your idea, and if you are happy with the templates that they might have, and the if you're happy to work around the template, then yeah, that's fine, that works as well. But like I said, the key here is cross-functional collaboration. So if you want all your teams to collaborate on the same thing, I feel Figma is much better, because one, you don't have to have licenses for everyone to collaborate, and the other one is it's basically a commenting based solution, which means you can have threaded conversations on it.
Thank you. So basically, for Figma, we don't need coding at all. It's a design collaboration tool. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Moving forward, when it comes to the no-code solution, it's great for a validation point of view. But what we found is when businesses do start getting some traction in the market, they're actually locked into an ecosystem, so the customization is very limited. So generally what has to happen is you have to move away from that platform and then actually go into a custom build regardless.
That's what I'm doing now. It's such a painful thing now. There's certain functions I can't add. Yeah, with Glad app. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we find is there's generally why people go through the no-code side of things is, one, from a talent point of view, they don't have the expertise behind them to be able to build something, and two, it's seen as a cost saving. But what we're finding is that discrepancy is actually starting to shrink now when it comes to the cost saving once you actually go from a custom built app versus a no-code app as well, depending on the functionalities required. So it's worth exploring all avenues, but that's generally what we're finding in the market at the moment.
And do you suggest if we have the coding capacity, we just move back to WordPress?
That's a different sort of conversation. Yeah. So it's that itself. WordPress, you're never going to get the same functionality as a business that you would if you actually move into an app.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Devini, best innovative ways to drop Figma screens to landing page or website to get the product feel? Yes. So what we generally do is we do product mockups and have the screenshots of the product on the landing page, especially when the product is still being built. But in a few of our landing pages, we also have like a prototype demo video of how the product works. So when you have the Figma prototype, you can record the screen, you can capture the video, and you can click on buttons so that it actually flows through and the user can actually see a functionality of the app even before it is built as a video or a screen share there. Right. And we put that video onto the landing page so that the user can understand how it works. And a lot of our clients actually use those videos even for user guides as well, to help people understand how to use their product once the product is launched, if it is a very specialized product.
Great, thank you.
Cool. Lanisha, I think you have a question?
Yeah, can you just maybe talk to us a bit on Appomate's services, if say if any of us want to engage with you guys to either help us build an app or something like that?
That will be me. I'll have a chat about that. So our services range from multiple aspects. So we're trying to keep ourselves as an end-to-end solution. So somebody might come to us when they need help in further validation of the idea. So what we actually can then build is, before we start going out the product, we start doing some competitive analysis. We see what's in the market. We create some revenue models, and then we actually create what we would call our a validation approach effectively. So we can create some customer interviews about what problems they're trying to solve based on the job to be done framework that we've gone through today. And then we'll utilize that to sense what sort of problem is available in the market that we need to solve. And then we use that data then to start building out the product. From there, we'll then go through into a design phase. That we'll build a landing page for you as well, so you gain some digital traction. So when you are starting to build out that platform, we can actually start utilizing some early customer feedback and then gain some data from customers as well. But during that process, what we're also going through is basically running you through what I guess where your lack might be as specifically to that person. Is that person needing help with marketing? Is that person needing help in finding investors? Is that person needing help becoming more of a domain expert in their industry? These are the sorts of things that we can help with. So ultimately, we actually meet entrepreneurs where they're at exactly where they're in their journey, and we have a suite of products that can definitely help with that. So it all depends on what your journey is looking like at the moment and what you're wanting to accomplish over a certain amount of time, that we can actually help establish what's going to be the best move forward for you. So it's really a custom approach from every single person that comes through our door effectively. So yeah, we build the app ultimately. We are the designers, we are the developers, but we are your partners in holding your hand across that entire journey, because what we find in our industry is that, you know, a lot of tech businesses will speak to the tech side of things, but they expect you to kind of spoon feed them all of the information, whereas we actually want to put ourselves in your shoes and your customers' shoes to build a world-class product. But we don't just stop there. What we're also going to do is be able to hold your hand through that entire journey as your partner, through that space as well. So yeah, we'll meet you where you're at in your journey.
So just to clarify 2 points.
Mhm.
Essentially, you actually help us as well with our market and market and customer validation. Is that
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yep. That's correct.
And so that means you can potentially help early stage founders at this point as well?
Absolutely. 100%. So we've actually invested heavily in our business to be able to help those early stage founders, even before a product, to be able to help with the validation of the actual idea as well. We have people that will say, look, I think there's a problem to solve, but I don't know how to uncover that. We'll actually be able to help you in that journey.
Great. So if I'm interested, how do I go about inquiring?
My mobile number was on that slide, so we'll share that at the end of the meeting as well. If you give me a call on that, yeah, perfect. So just give us a buzz. I'm available from after 3 o'clock today, so more than happy to have a chat later today or early time this week as well.
Great. Yeah, because I really want to launch something by spring at least.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, that's a good amount
So,
of time. So yeah, we'll definitely be able to help you find a solution that fits your problem that you're trying to solve.
and if you don't mind me asking a final question,
Go
like,
for it.
if you don't mind me sharing, I've actually engaged with Hyper, if
Mhm.
you've heard of them.
Yep, absolutely.
How sort of propose to me how you're different to Hyper?
Yeah, so I'm not going to probably touch on that right now. I might actually save that for a conversation.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
want, yeah,
Okay.
just because this is recorded, I don't necessarily want to talk about Hyper without Hyper engaging in this conversation as
Sorry,
well.
yeah, forgot.
So I'd love to take that offline and have that conversation with you if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry
Perfect.
about that.
No need to apologize. All good. Any other questions? I think someone just posted another question. Vicky, we've got a running web-based platform, no app yet. Is that something you can help us with? And what are the costs involved? Yeah, absolutely. Cool. This year answering that question. Yeah, more than happy to have a conversation around transferring what you've got as a web-based platform over to a mobile app platform. I think in the first meeting that Vish did mention that Appomate, we do have a mobile-first mentality as well. So we're more than happy to, I guess, transfer what you've currently got from a web-based platform into a mobile app as well, and getting some of those use cases and nutting those out with you as well.
Zane, sorry, just to
Yes.
clarify again. So do I message you or call you?
So shoot me a text first, and then if I'm not in a meeting, I'll be able to call you straight away. But yeah, if you give us a buzz, we'll be able to have a chat. That's complete. It's my personal number, so you'll be able to get me most
All
times.
right. All good. Thanks.
Perfect. Are you able to build apps that incorporate augmented reality? There are a lot of actually Australian businesses that aren't really focusing on this, but it's actually something we're really trying to engage in. Some of the kind of the buzz terms that we're getting at the moment actually are the AI space, which we're heavily invested in, and actually are building AI-based apps at the moment. The other side of it is that augmented reality, so we are definitely investigating that. And cybersecurity has been a massive play at the moment as well, which we've actually engaged in the cybersecurity space as well. So those are kind of the three terms that we're getting here probably in the last 3 months that I'm noticing. And the great thing is we've actually been able to investigate and actually establish ourselves in those spaces as well, which is super exciting for those that are looking to explore it. Generally, the augmented reality space has been really difficult for Australian-based businesses because there was a lack of understanding. But you know what technology is like. The old saying is that it expands every 14 minutes, and that's entirely true. And we're actually finding a lot of success in those spaces. So yes, we can definitely build apps with those sorts of things as well.
I think we first started looking at augmented reality apps in 2018.
Yep.
When the hardware capability was really not what it is today.
Yep.
Yeah, it's become a lot more user-friendly to have augmented reality experiences, both on web and on app. So, yeah.
What is the pricing structure? Can I please have buyer what we can do for you, Rachel, is we can send something through for you. Everything, like I said, we are a custom builder, so it is completely different to each particular person and what they're looking for. So I'd like to actually have a conversation about what your specific needs are. From a pricing point of view, I'll share that with you. I'm not going to share that here. But I'll absolutely be able to share that with you offline. Okay.
Sure. Should I expect the email then?
Yeah, I've just got that here. So Rachel at woodgear.com.
Email. Yep. And we got an MVP. Just I don't have enough coding stuff yet, so I'm trying to work out what is a better solution.
Yeah, absolutely. No dramas. We can definitely look at that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, those frameworks you shared with us earlier, is there like a platform or something that we can access to edit those ourselves?
You can actually download it as a PDF. So the founder of Jobs to Be Done, there are actually two founders, co-founders. That guy is called Tony Ulrich.
Okay.
Actually, I think his website is Strategyn.
Okay. Yeah.
Strategyn. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially share the links to these worksheets as well with everyone on the Startup Network. I'll pass it on to Ryan, and you could probably share it with everyone.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Chris, are you finding more and more apps are being built on no code, low code, in particular bubble, with more in Australia? We're not really getting. I don't think there's much difference to what has been over the last couple of years. What we've noticed is there's been some more no-code build-based platforms being, I guess, operating in Australia. So there's probably been more access to people getting a no-code or low-code here in Australia because there's probably been a bit of a gap here. But not necessarily seeing that there's probably anyone more going towards that space. I guess where people would go to a no-code, low-code space is if they, for lack of a better term, are finding themselves impatient to getting a platform out there. So they will go to a no-code because they might be able to bust something out in, 4 to 6 weeks from that perspective, just to help early validation. I mean, if people have the capital to be able to do that, just to be able to throw it away in the future, that's great for them. But not necessarily seeing any more uptake or more diversion through to that space, I would say. I hope that helps. But generally, we find people actually inquiring with us who have had those platforms, asking if we can actually help them out with it as well. Am I saying it's not a long-term solution? In a roundabout way, I would definitely say it's not a long-term solution, depending on what you consider a long-term solution. Some people might be able to have it for 10 to 15 years and still be quite successful. But generally, if they're looking to pivot the business or if they're looking to add a different customer scope or a vertical, that's where it can become particularly difficult. Or if you're looking to add in some specific customization of terms of a feature, that's when it can become quite difficult because you are locked into their ecosystem. So if you are looking to maybe add in some extra security or something like that as well, because you've landed another contract with a company that requires it, that's going to make it difficult. So you might have some client-specific needs that make it really difficult to be able to pivot the business. Therefore, it does require then moving on to a bit more of a custom platform. Any other questions from anyone? Great questions, by the way. These are fantastic.
Yeah.
Really great questions. Keeping me on my toes. Any questions from anyone else, or? No, I think we might. I think we've run them dry, Vish, from questions, so
Awesome.
we might be able to sign off what we're doing here at the moment.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us on this 3-week journey. Hopefully it was helpful. As we said, if you have any questions, we shared the contact information, so feel free to message Zain or I, and we'll help you out. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, and all the very best in your journey.
Beautiful. Just putting in the chat my details as well. Vish, if you want to do the same, just in the chat there, just in case people are looking at that rather than seeing the slides. Get in contact with us. Make sure you come through me first. I might be easy to contact because Vish is obviously in more face-to-face meetings and design meetings than I am at this space. Yeah, please feel free to get in contact with me to have a chat, and would love to see what you're trying to unlock in your space, everyone. So really appreciate you making the time and effort to come to these. This is actually really good fun for us. Great insight, great questions, and hopefully we can see you on Forbes one day as new founders with cracking the million very early. That'd be very nice. But let us know if you need any help. We're there to support in any way, shape, or form. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.